think that's right. And I think that's hard for most people to confront.
And that applies in every aspect of your life. Fear of money.
Okay, so for me, I think true happiness is.
So could you be alone with yourself without being in peace?
Cause I'm alright. What time is
So welcome back, heroes. This is another episode of The Keys.
of life? That's a blooper like a mother.
Welcome to a new episode of The Life in the Keys of DNA.
Ah, that's funny. I'm D.
Ame,
All right. Let's get to it, baby. Let's get to it.
rolling.
The rules of engagement. Yeah, move dirt production. You better be a part of it. You gon' talk about it. Check it.
Okay, so heroes, today's topic is
Unpopular opinions. All right. So we're gonna throw out a few. We're gonna discuss them, and yeah, let's see what we're talking about here. So I'll kick off with the first one. The first one is money can buy happiness in the form of time. I think it's an interesting, unpopular opinion, but let's see how you feel about it. What do you think about that statement? Money can buy happiness in the form of time.
I mean, you can buy time. Okay, so the popular topic is money can buy happiness in the form of time. So to me, time is the most valuable assets we all have. It's something that you can never get back.
That's facts, for sure.
Something that you use and you cannot have a refund. You just, I was going to say wasted it. You just invested it. You used it. You can never have a refund, and you can never change the way in which you have used your time. So to me, it's the most valuable asset we have. So money, can money buy time for you? Well, I'd say yes.
Yeah, I take that one. I take that one to the grave too. I take that to the grave, saying yes. Yeah, definitely, definitely. See, the reason why I think it might be considered unpopular because people don't think money can buy happiness. People don't think money can buy happiness because, of course, you have some people, that are rich and that are just not happy. But in general terms, that's why I would say that that's why it's an unpopular opinion because most people don't think money can buy happiness. But I do think I don't know if people think money can buy happiness in the form of time, but I do. I absolutely agree with you. I think that's the
In,
best way.
in turn, I agree on that. I mean, money cannot buy happiness, but you can use money to buy time for you, and then you can use this free time in any way you want to. Okay. So, for example, uh, a very simple example: instead of cleaning up your house, you pay somebody for doing that, and then you use your time, I don't know, to play the guitar.
Other, well, let's keep it 100 to do other shit. Yeah, and that's what you want. That's what you want, and yeah, that's the thing. And the thing is, this is this is not a blatant attack on all the women heroes that we have on the channel, but in terms of that, I just know that women don't like that. For example, I'm willing to pay 20 euros for someone to come and clean my house for 2 hours. For me, that just makes absolute sense. And if I don't like the way they did it, I can always go back and say, okay, next time I want you to do this, 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 and this. And so for me, there's no personal attachment to how they're doing it. If they are not doing it the way that I want it, then I'll just go back and say, okay, clean it up like this. But I know a lot of women who say, no, we're not gonna let's get rid of the person because they're not doing it exactly the way I want it. And I'm like, look. you're investing your time in having to do that, and for me, that's a bit of silliness. Maybe it's just the brain that I was born with that says, look, if they're going to do it, let them do it, so I don't have to do it. And I've always been like that. But I know a lot of people, and in this case, I would have to say the majority of them are women that tend to fight against that, saying, "Well, they're not doing it exactly the way I want it." Well, they're not you. So if you don't tell them exactly how you want it, how can they do it exactly like you want it? So yeah, I totally.
So there are 8 billions of different ways of cleaning up houses, as many ways as inhabitants this planet has. So yeah, the only thing you need to do is to tune it up a bit.
And yeah, and I
A
think
little bit of tune.
yeah, and I think why not? Why not? What is the sense of working every day and having money and then you still doing the mundane tasks that you don't want to do? For me, I think it's foolishness. And so, yeah, I think money can buy happiness in the form of time. Absolutely agree with that. 1,000%.
So do I. But this topic leads us to a deeper one.
Okay. Well, I got on my snorkels, baby. I might have to change into my scuba gear, but let's see if we go that deep.
Why don't those people you know want to spend their money? I mean, I'm going to change the word. Want to invest their money in somebody who cleans up the house? Why?
Well, if I'm going off of the experiences that I have, I think most of the time it's an issue of petty Pete being very, very strong. What do I mean when I say that? I mean that because you have it in your mind that it has to be a certain way, you can't you or these people don't realize that, look, irregardless of what I have in my mind, as long as it gets done. Sometimes the result is just as important as it's more important. The result is what? Is it clean? Of course, it may not be clean to the way you want it, but is it clean? If that's the result that you want, and you don't have to invest 2 hours or the stress of coming home and it not being the way that you want. What is, and you see, there we go. Let me go put on my scuba gear because then we get back into what we have stated a lot of times before. You can either be right or you can be happy. And I think that's what happens. The person has it in their mind, it has to be like this. I want it like this. It has to be. Yeah, you can be right, but you're going to be unhappy. You can get someone to do it. For me, if it's done, I'm happy. Maybe they didn't do it exactly how I wanted, but we can address that the next time. And I think that's what it is. It's the issue of petty Pete and being right. And I'd rather be happy. That's my take. What's your take on it?
And why is Petty Pete saying that to you?
Well, I would think because people are trying to control things that are not necessary. I think when you're trying to control a situation or when your ego is telling you it has to be your way instead of accepting it can be any way as long as it's done. That's what I think. What do you think?
Well, I agree with you on that. It has to be with our egoic mind as well as with that voice, little voice, which is not in this case Jiminy Cricket, but is the opposite to it, which is Petty Pete. That little voice has been baptized by this. Um, let's call it. Let's call it man.
Yes. Keeping it.
Let's call it man. Okay, so uh, to me, it has to do with fear of money, with the programming we have grown up with. So, believe it or not, and as I've told many times here, words have power because they are vibrations, they are energy, and they shape our inner self, our outer self, and that means that it also shapes our reality. So, by means of saying words, chains of words, even unconsciously, you are programming your brain to look for those things. If you if you have programmed your brain in a way in which is always worried and looking for menaces, threatens, it's going to do that. So if your parents or your family, they have brought you up in scarcity.
Okay, scarcity. Come on, you got to say it right. Hold on. I know. I couldn't let that one slide, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, apologies to you, but I couldn't let that. Scarcity. Okay, fair enough.
Okay, in scarcity, your brain is going to look for that. It's going to give you a lot of reasons for you to save money. And you can have a lot of money, you can have a good buffer in your bank account, okay? And it doesn't mean that you're rich. To me, richness has to do with something very different, okay? You can have a lot of money in your bank account and you could be still suffering because of that, because you're afraid of money. So in our programming, spending 20, 30, 40 euros in somebody who cleans up your house, it's a waste of time. You're wasting your money. That is what your brain tells you because of your programming. You're afraid of money. So, what you have to change, you're in a conversation with yourself. You have to change words, you have to change your programming. Is it easy? No, it is not. It's really hard because that implies that you have to be present in the moment, right now. And for you to do that, you have to spend a lot of energy, and your brain doesn't want that. Your triune brain, which is composed of the neocortex brain, the limbic one, and the reptilian one, it only wants to save energy. So spending more energy on something which is extra right now for you, it's not convenient for your brain. So it's going to give you a lot of excuses to do it. I'm going to give you another example. And let me ask you this. Are your children important for you?
Yes, of course.
Will, would you be willing to do whatever should be done to save your children? Or
Well, see, that's a difficult question, not because the answer is no, but it's because of the motivational factors. Because you can say what you want, but if it's not really like a life-threatening situation, of course, I would jump in front of a truck to save my kid.
okay, that is what I need right now for this example. Okay.
Yes, that's clear. I would clearly do that.
Okay, so as we human beings usually say, I would die for my children. Okay, so what is going on? This recording will continue on a new track. Take two. We human beings usually say that our children are the most important things that we have. There is a general tenet. Whether you believe it or not, is a general one.
I don't, but okay.
Okay, so one fine day, um, an acquaintance of mine came to me and said, I'm having these problems with my son, and I don't know how to tackle this. And I said, okay, so I'm working with the pedagogue, and she's really good. She's helping me. Um, I'm going to pass the number on to you, and just in case you like to call. And okay, so next week or in a couple of weeks, this mom came to me again and she said, I called her, but I couldn't afford it. It is 20 euros per hour. I couldn't afford it. And I said, okay, that's up to you. But at that very moment, I thought, so you cannot spend 20 euros to help your son. in turn to help you, because the pedagogue, at least with us, they helped us more than she helped our children. Okay, because she's kind of reprogramming your brain and your way of speaking and so on. Okay, so you couldn't afford to spend 20 euros and to invest that amount of money in your son, in your family, in your most valuable asset, but you can spend more than 20 euros in, I don't know, in you going to the hairdressers, for example, which is a more trivial thing. So that is because of our fear of money, things that we do not see as necessary, and then we don't want to spend money. We don't want to invest our money in those things, for example, cleaning up the house. Because if you let somebody else to clean up your house, you would have more time for you, and then you could study, you could work out, you could, I don't know, calm down, meditate, or whatever. You can invest your time in any other task.
Yes.
But to me, that is because of this programming, fear of money. People are afraid of money. Those who save a lot of money, those who spend a lot of money, all those people have fear of money. And because I've identified, and then I was going to say suffer, but I lived through it, and then I learned how to cope with that. So I can now identify that fear. Okay. So when somebody approaches to me and says, I cannot afford it or whatever, it is because of this fear of money.
Yeah, I think that's a valid way of looking at it. I didn't look at it like that at first, but now after you've explained what you've explained, it makes sense. It does make sense. And yeah, yeah, it makes sense. Now, me personally, if we go a little old school, if I was your friend, this is all for the older generation. You know, what we used to do is we would take one of these, and when you having problems with your kids, you wear their ass out. But we knew, we learning, so we're more civilized. But that's what I would have said a few years ago. Okay, just so the heroes know what used to go on back in the day. But on a serious note, yeah, I think when you put it in that perspective, it makes sense, and I can see why people are, it's like they're shooting themselves in the foot because on one hand they're complaining that look, this is not happening, or I want this result, but then you're not doing the thing that is more likely to get you the result than doing nothing or than complaining about it. And yeah, I see that, I see it. And you said a word, well, you didn't want to say the word, but I think that word is in this situation makes a lot of sense and is very relevant. People suffer. They are literally suffering because they're not doing the thing that they should do to get the result that they want because they're unwilling to let someone else take control over the situation. And at the end of the day, what can you do with something like that? It's difficult because you're going around and around and around in a very vicious cycle, and you're just really hurting yourself at the end of the day. So, for all those people out there who make enough money, get a damn maid and stop messing around. And all the women who complaining, let the maid do the work. If there's an issue with it, let her go ahead and what I'm saying. Just explain to her or him or her or whoever you got or the LBGT, all of that shit. You explain to whoever it is what they need to get done, and they'll do it because that's what you pay for.
Explain that.
Yeah, they all, each and every one of them, aliens and whoever you got, even Stitch and Lilo, everybody, get everybody involved to get it together. Because at the end of the day, it's your time, and you're never gonna get that 2 hours back. And
Yeah.
it's not just that you waste 2 hours, but you will waste 2 hours in a negative state of mind because you're gonna be like, damn, I'm doing this, and somebody else should do it, and so essentially, it's more than wasting 2 hours. It's like 5 or 6 days because you're in such a negative mental state that it's just you're losing twice. So quit losing twice and let somebody else do it. Sometimes life is about finding the simple way out. And if there's an easy path, just go with it. Be like water. Go with the easiest path, the path of least resistance. But people are, they're standing on they're standing at the top of the mountain screaming and yelling, saying, look, yeah, we don't want to get down from here, even though it's cold up there and they're freezing to death. Make it make sense. So yeah. But it's a good point that you made, and I think it's a very valid point and one I didn't think of prior to, you know, when I said it.
Before moving forward, I would like to read a paragraph of a very good book.
Okay. Shameless plug, but we'll take it.
Okay, so uh, it's just a little paragraph. Okay, the title is "Common Causes of Fear of Money," and it says the causes of fear of money are often related to traumatic experiences, limiting beliefs, or lack of financial education, as indicated in a study in the Journal of Consumer Research. So, this study found that family and cultural beliefs profoundly influence how people perceive money. And these perceptions can generate financial anxiety or even phobias. The study emphasizes that many individuals develop limiting beliefs about money based on their family environment, which can lead to a tense or fearful relationship with money in adulthood. And lastly, these beliefs can be challenged and modified through cognitive restructuring and increased financial literacy. So there's a lot of studies that they show how people fear money. They're afraid of money, but we don't know it consciously. It is our it is our pattern, the only way we know. And when I say that words have a lot of power, they are almighty. And because I know, and it is the common habit in the neighborhood, on streets. It is like saying, but I cannot afford it. But we are poor, so we are poor people, and we cannot afford it. And even a silly thing, which is to hack, for example, to pay for a decoder for
Hmm.
Netflix, that little thing, it's damaging you a lot. Why? It involves a lot because you are telling yourself that you deserve it. First thing first, you're saying to yourself that you deserve this. Secondly, you're saying to yourself that you shouldn't make the effort to get that because you cannot get it now. And you are saying to yourself that you can avoid the process. So it's a vicious circle in which you're going from point zero to point zero again. So you're not evolving. Okay. And that is a little fact. So because there's a lot of people who say, I'm not paying for watching football on TV because it is too expensive. And then those companies have a lot of money. I believe that doesn't have anything with you. They have a lot of money because they're making business. Okay. So it is up to you to pay for that or not. But if you hack it, you're harming yourself because of what I've explained earlier. You're damaging yourself because you're programming your brain. You're telling yourself that you deserve it, that you can skip the process, and that applies in every aspect of your life. Fear of money.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So you saying that for those people out there who who get Netflix for free, it's not a good thing. It's a bad thing. You're taking the Netflix and chill away from people.
I don't share I don't share assets. Okay, so I don't have any assets from Netflix.
I mean, I guess I get it. I get the concept because, of course, and the bottom line is, you know, doesn't matter if anyone else knows. You know what it means to not value a service enough to pay for it and then utilize the service. So yeah, that's an unpopular opinion, but I think it's a very valid one. Yeah, I think it's a very valid one. Yeah, got to stop stealing. Simple, folks. No
So
five finger discounts.
money can buy happiness in form of time.
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. Yes, sir.
I can use money to invest my time in other things. I rephrase it this way.
Yes, totally agree with that.
Wow. I watched a podcast the other day and it's related to this. A very interesting definition of happiness.
Okay, good. Give it to me.
What is how would you define happiness?
Okay, so for me, I think true happiness is full expression. When you're expressing yourself fully, that would be my definition of happiness. Happiness is when you are able to fully express yourself in whatever facet of life that is. So that's my definition. And yours, before you give me theirs. You can put all the pressure on me, bruh.
That's why you're here. So, heroes, I have to say that there aren't valid answers for this. Okay, so but I heard a very interesting definition of happiness during that podcast, and it was given by a psychologist.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You are not going to electric slide your way out of the answer. I am not. I answered it. So
I'm not trying to do that.
well, I'm making sure. I'm making sure. I don't.
I was building my argument.
Like you were going to give their definition and not yours. We need your definition first. Then we can appreciate their definition. But what is your definition? Whatever it is at this moment. Yes.
It has to do with theirs. Peace. And that psychologist said serenity.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay, that's up to you. That it's no to me there is no a correct answer for that.
Okay, so that's a bit vague. I need more explanation. What do you mean peace? What you want, a piece of pizza? Pizza, some cookie pieces? What you talking about? What you talking about, Willis?
Path.
I know what it means, but I don't know what it means when you say it. What does that mean? Like being like namaste-ish? What does it mean? I don't get it.
Okay, heroes, we are done with today's episode. This is a good cliffhanger. See you in the next one. According to my experience, peace of mind, peace, that you're in peace with yourself. And it involves a lot. It involves, for example, how you take things daily,
Okay.
in every second, how you cope with yourself, how you struggle with petty Pete, how you relate to your environment. So, how could you reach happiness without peace? So, to me, and maybe tomorrow I'll be changing my point of view. But today, my today's point of view is peace.
Okay.
It's
So expressing yourself in the most peaceful way that you can in every moment, or just, or like something like that, similar, or another way.
something similar, yeah. Because you can express yourself even though you're alone, even though you're alone. And I during an interview, I I heard Dr. Mario Alonso Put.
Hmm.
He's one of my mentors. I look up to this man a lot. He's he's amazing. So he said he said that some researchers, they conducted and they carried a study in which some people, they were in a room all alone. Okay, and during that experiment they had a button. So if they pressed the button, they would receive uh, electricity through their bodies. Okay, so that'd be painful, painful enough to not to touch it again. Okay,
Okay.
but they should be alone, all alone. And after some minutes, they would rather press the button and receive pain than being alone. So, could you be alone with yourself without being in peace? That's why I said peace today.
No, no. I mean, now that you put it like that, now it's it's digestible. At first you came off and you gave me an elephant to eat, and you said eat an elephant, and I'm like, nah, bro. I need little chunks. I need baby chunks. I need pieces. And when you put it like that, it makes a lot of sense. And I would agree. I would agree. I would agree. But I think that also leads to another question: Why are people? Why is it difficult for people to be alone with themselves? But I think that also goes back to how you talk to yourself, your programming and all of that, and what you're willing to confront. Because I think you can't lie to yourself, and I think that's the game changer. You can tell yourself some false stories, but I think the true that source of whatever is in you that to be true all the time, is like, nah, I don't think that's right. And I think that's hard for most people to confront. I think that's the hardest work most people do.
I agree with you. You have to confront yourself, and you are your worst enemy. You know yourself very well. So that's why. And I also like this metaphor created by Buddhists, and it is that your mind is a playful monkey. It cannot be still. So it's always jumping, hopping, moving, running, and so on. Okay, so and based on what your trained brain thinks or believes, it takes parts. It takes your memories. This is another topic for another video. That it takes your memories from your past experiences to create a possible future. And most of the times, that future is created by your past fears. So, in turn, we are worried about a future that doesn't exist yet and that would probably never exist.
Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah, that's a topic for another video, but it has to do with that. And it's another unpopular opinion because if you said to somebody, okay, so you have to forget and forgive the person that harmed you yesterday. But how come I do it? I cannot do it because he stole, he stole my money, he got this, or he did that to me, and so on, and he deserved this, and whatever. Who's suffering now?
Definitely you.
You. So do that. But I cannot. He took, I don't know, he took 5,000 euros that were mine, and now I don't care. But I know it's difficult. But who's suffering? Again and again, who's suffering? You. Is it worth it? Is that, I mean, if I had to choose, definitely I would choose this. I mean, I will forgive this man and I will forget it. And at the same time, I will learn a lesson from that. But that's very difficult because you have to fight against your programming. over and over again against your programming.
And I also think it fights against your need to be right,
Yeah.
because you have to justify that. Your ego has to justify your need to be right. And if you can't let that go, then it's difficult. Because how many times you've been in a situation where you go, yeah, I could let it go, but I'm fucking right. And they deserve whatever I'm going to give them. So yeah, I think that's the problem. And I think how I'm learning how to deal with it is every day I try to be less judgmental than the day before. Because I think when you stop judging things, then you don't have to pick a side. Then it's just it is what it is. And that's how I believe that's how you can do it. You can wake up the very next day and go, look, I love you today. I love you right now, irregardless of what happened yesterday and irregardless of what you said or may have done, because I don't need to be right. I need to be happy. And I'm going to love you from this happy point that I'm at right now, as opposed to the point of, well, I'm right because of this. And you see, even when you go into that, you automatically come up with that feeling. But if you go, look, that's yesterday. We're rocking with today. I love you today. That's what we're working with. So, it's funny that you would say that because that's the path that I'm currently on. Loving things and loving and enjoying things from today, not based on yesterday. So yeah, and that's the holdup. That's the problem. You don't need to be right. It's simple. You can be, but then you can't be happy because those two things can't exist at the same time. Well, let me change that. You can't be at peace because those two things can't exist because you need to prove to someone that you're right. And to be alone and peaceful, you don't need anybody's approval.
And you touched a very profound thing, which is, let me ask you this: what are you doing when you're judging?
You're picking a side. So you're looking for justification of of why you feel the way you feel
Based on,
based on your programming, based on your past experiences.
and that leads you to you're right,
Yes, because that's how you get to that. Yeah,
and the other one is wrong.
yeah, exactly. So that makes you have to choose. Because if you just said, "Oh, okay, that happened," no, that's nice, or you don't even say anything. This happened. Oh, see, I don't have a judgment about that. But as soon as I go, this happened to someone. Oh, that's so. You see, now I've assumed the role. Now I've taken the side, and I can't. And you can't take a side without going down the rabbit hole. It's just not the way we're wired. As soon as you decide that, okay, this person is the right person for me, this one is right and this one is wrong, now you're down the rabbit hole,
Yeah.
and you immediately begin to justify why you're right. And that's the problem because now you're spending your energy on things that are not what you want, are not what make you feel better. You're like, well, this is that, and at the end of the day, you can be right, but you can't be peaceful. Those two things together in the same body,
No.
I don't think they can exist. I think it's one or the other. So yeah, and it's true. And even when you break down when a person is like, oh, I want this to happen, but I don't want to spend my money to get that. There you go. Because now what are you doing? You're choosing a side.
Yeah.
You're like, it's important, but it's important, but it's not important for my 20 euros. Of course it should be. Because if it would give you peace, why wouldn't you do it? What is the justification for not being in a peaceful mind state? I don't understand it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I agree with you. So what I'm now trying to do is to changing judgment, and I'm trying to. I'll put it this way, in an easier way. Okay, instead of judging things, I'm trying to comprehend and understand things, understand situations, and maybe from a from compassion. You have to use compassion. To me, that is what brings me peace. I mean, to try to compassionately understand that person's view and why that person has done this or that, instead of judging that person, okay? Which is difficult. It is difficult. But once again, you should be present.
For sure, for sure. And it requires a lot of work. And like I always say, nobody gets a chance to skip the process. The process is undefeated.
Thank you.
And nobody gets a chance to jump the line. Everybody sits in the line and everybody abides by the rules of the line until it's your turn. So yeah, you have to sit down with yourself and, you know, be like, okay, no judgments, no judgments, no judgments. And for me, I mean, I'm definitely, because you know me, I love to play paddle. I love my paddle. But I do find that, you know, sometimes I'm very judgmental about how people play. And I can't be at peace and I can't really enjoy myself. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. I should be able to enjoy myself irregardless of who I'm playing with, irregardless of whether I win or lose. So now I can enjoy myself a little bit more because I'm in the mind state now of like, look, it is what it is. I can't change that person. I don't have to. The only person that I can focus on is the person that I'm living, in the body that I'm living in. So work on it. And yeah. So I literally, and I'm talking to myself on the court sometimes, like, look, no, you don't have to judge that. No judgment needed. And it's getting better. So yeah, it's the path forward. And I'm not gonna sit up here and say it's easy because it's definitely harder, especially when you're passionate about something and when you have a lot of momentum of doing something for a long time. So that's even harder to. It presents a bigger challenge. But of course, it's baby steps because baby steps become giant steps. So you by
Yeah.
little by little, little by little, you get a bigger stride and bigger steps, and you're like, okay, then you get it. But you can't lie to yourself and you can't cheat. So yeah,
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
and I don't think you can. So yeah, so very yeah,
So,
well said, and well played.
one more, another one is another statement here. We will all die and will soon be forgotten.
Oh, that's a. I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion. I think it's more of a forgotten one. Because I think essentially we know that, you know, nobody lives forever. But the forgotten part, that hits you. That hits you a different way. It hits you. It hits you. It hit different. It hits different when you just go, look, in 100 years, who's gonna remember you? Outside of a few family members that, you know, hopefully you were good to and they valued you high enough to put a few photos of you here in the crib. Who's gonna remember you? That's a tough one to swallow. That's a tough one to swallow. I have to say that that's a tough one to swallow. What do you say?
If we thought of this, I mean, we're going to die. We human beings, if we thought of this, we would behave in different ways. I don't think people, in a daily basis, I don't think that people think of they're going to die. We all think that we are going to last forever. And in our current physical body, we are not going to last forever. We're going to die. So there are only two things in our lives, current lives, that are true. One is that you were born, and the other one is that you're going to die.
Boy, I thought you was gonna say taxes. I swear to God, I thought he was gonna say it. He didn't say it though. Bless him, but I said he gonna say taxes, but you didn't. Okay, but yeah, that's true. Birth and death. This
Nowadays, that is the third one. Those people from the
yes,
IRS.
sir. The alphabet boys. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Those are really scary, mate.
But yet,
Do you think? Sorry. Do you think that um, we would have behaved in different ways long time ago if you had had it um, in your life in a daily basis? I mean, that every day that you're certain that you're going to die, would you have taken things in different ways? You're going to die, and you don't know when.
of
So
course, of course, of course. I think that's, I think that's what makes life. That is what makes life beautiful, because of the uncertainty. So that means you have to live your moment now. Okay, well, this is something that I have done. I've asked some, prior students. I said, if you knew, and they were in their 20s at the time. I said, look, if you knew that at age 40 it was game over for you. Everybody, age 40 is game over. You going to the upper room, you going there. Exactly.
400.
40 is game over. You know what I mean? Would you do something different? How would you live different? Immediately, what they did was they cut out a lot of the BS. They're like, well, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do that. I would focus on the things that I want to do. So why don't you do that now? You know what I'm saying? So I think it's clear and evident that if you know that, look, you don't have, your life expectancy is reduced to half, and you only have 20 years left, you behave different. Just think about people who get told that, look, you got 6 months. They live it up. And normally those are the ones that live longer. But it's because they've embraced it and they're like, look, I want to live. And I think you Petty Pete can't come visit you when you're like, look, I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. Because you hug people different. You love people different. You enjoy things different when you're like, this might be it. And it's funny because there was a guy and he was talking about that. He was saying that when you're a kid, you never realize that it's your last sleepover because no one ever tells you. You just don't know. But if you knew it was your last sleepover, hanging out or being at the pool with this certain group of people that you admire, that you had a lot of love for, that you've been through crazy experiences from, not from, but with. Actually, I think it was The Sandlot. No, no, it's yeah, yeah, The Sandlot. It's a movie. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. So you should definitely check it out. And so it's true. If you knew that it was the last time you would be able to be in the cafeteria at school, it's the last time you would eat that food and be in the environment, you wouldn't take it for granted. And I think that's what we do. We take shit for granted because we think, oh, we have a lot more moments to come. And in a sense that's true. But also we devalue the moments that we have. Because if you knew that this was the last time you could ever hug and kiss your wife, your kid, or anybody, you're not gonna go, no. You lean in, you smell, you hold, and normally you say, thank you for the moment. There's a level of grace that comes with that, with enjoying the moment. So, yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think if we knew that it was over, if you lived every day like it's your last day, every day is remarkable. Every day is an adventure. Every day is something extraordinary.
Yeah, totally agree. And I think that we don't have the present. I mean that we are all going to die because in our society is a sort of taboo. So I think we have to take it in a in a healthier way. I mean, to speak and to talk about death is not a ban. It's something that is going to happen. Okay, so and yeah, you're right. I also think that we all spend our lives waiting for the perfect moment to come. That's why we don't think of our own death. We're not going to die. And that's why we procrastinate. And that's why we put some things that we love aside, because we all tend to think, okay, when I when I match this condition and that one and the other one and the other one, so that'll be the perfect moment and then I'll do it. But it is the other way around. You have to create the perfect moment. And if you aren't conscious enough to realize that you're going to die, how on earth are you going to do it? Some people do it unconsciously. And you can feel when those people are in front of you and are with you, because the energy speaks. You can feel it. Okay. So and then there is a good sentence that I took as one of my mantras, which is, by their fruits you shall know them. So we are all going to die, heroes. So take advantage of your life. It doesn't mean that you're going to spend your whole life on the sofa.
I mean, it's a lot of Netflix,
Maybe,
a lot of Netflix and then chilling, but you know.
but you know, everything has a balance. So be conscious about this. We're going to die. So I'm 40 right now, and to me, it was 2 days ago when I was 20, because I don't feel that different. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I still feel energetic and passionate, and as an example, I've never stopped studying, never. And I, because I'm curious and I like studying, and I like reading this and deep dive into this. But I come across daily with a lot of people who say, who don't study, or some youngsters who said, I can wait for the moment in which I stop studying. I can wait for that. And when I hear that, I always reply, I've never stopped studying. I'm 40, but never, never. I had some breaks, but I've never stopped studying. But I don't feel, as I told you, I don't feel that different. So, and I'm 40, and life goes like this.
I'm almost 50. On that 50 boat, bro. Next year, 2025, 50. So, but it's good though. It's good because, and I think I'm gonna try it. You know, they always have TikTok challenges full of shenanigans. I think I'm gonna try it for the next week. I'm going to try and live every moment. And before I experience the moment, I'm gonna say to myself, if this were your last moment, how would you handle the situation? And I'll tell you what happens because I think it's going to mark a big difference in how I handle things. Because when you have that in your brain, okay, this is my last moment with this person. What would I say to them? This is my last moment having this conversation. How would I say it? So yeah, I'm gonna try it. We'll call it the Guapo Challenge.
It shouldn't be that stressful.
No, it really
No,
shouldn't.
you
It
should
should.
be conscious.
Yeah, yeah, it shouldn't be
At
stressful.
least to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna give it a go. Start today, and see how it goes. And yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. I think for sure it'll be an adventure when I didn't have before I started it. So we'll see. It's Christmas time, so we're gonna see how it gets off the jumping off. So I think it's gonna be good. But yeah, I think it's a great way of looking at life, and I think it as we like to say, it cuts out the fat of the steak. It gets right to the important part of it. And so yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna give it a go, and I'll report back to the heroes to see what I found. So if you hear something about me choking the shit out of somebody, don't believe it. It didn't happen like that. It was my last moment to choke the shit out of him, and I took advantage of it. No, I'm playing. So Yeah, but yeah, I look forward to it now. It's good. It's good.
It could be your last time choking.
It could be my last time choking somebody. I will definitely enjoy it. So yeah, you know what I mean. That's how it's all about perspective. You know what I mean? You're like, I've been wanting to get you, Earl. You fit to get this work. Come here. Don't be running.
Be careful what you choke.
Yes, always. Well, I didn't. I thought it. I didn't say it, but you verbalized it, so now it's on the table. But yeah, for
I want to know you know what it's for.
those who know. Those who don't. Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, I think we reached the end of this episode.
Yes, and I like it. I think it's a good addition.
Yeah.
It's a good addition to how we get down. So yeah, I like it.
It's an unpopular episode.
For the unpopular opinions, but I have to say it's been good. All right then, and then heroes on that bombshell. It has been a pleasure. Thanks for flying with us, and
See you next week.
this is facts. This is facts.
But we are going to take this episode as if it were the last one we're going to shoot. Okay.
So on that note, have a good one, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Bye.
The rules of engagement. Yeah, Moon Dirt Production. You better be a part of it. We gon' talk about. Check it.